Since I'm one of the old guys, I won't tell you what to do with this power that rests in your hands, but I'll leave you with 3 quick pieces of advice. First, don't be afraid. America's gone through tough times before. Slavery, civil war, famine, disease, the Great Depression, and 9/11. And each time, we came out stronger. Usually because a new generation, young people like you, learned from past mistakes and figured out how to make things better. Second, do what you think is right. Doing what feels good, what's convenient, what's easy, that's how little kids think. Unfortunately, a lot of so-called grown-ups, including some with fancy titles and important jobs, still think that way, which is why things are so screwed up. I hope that instead you decide to ground yourself in values that last, like honesty, hard work, responsibility, fairness, generosity, respect for others. You won't get it right every time. You'll make mistakes, like we all do. But if you listen to the truth that's inside yourself, even when it's hard, even when it's inconvenient, people will notice. They'll gravitate towards you, and you'll be part of the solution instead of part of the problem. And finally, build a community. No one does big things by themselves. Right now, when people are scared, it's easy to be cynical and say, let me just look out for myself, or my family, or people who look or think or pray like me. But if we're going to get through these difficult times, if we're going to create a world where everybody has opportunity to find a job and afford college, if we're going to save the environment and defeat future pandemics, then we're going to have to do it together. So be alive to one another's struggles. Stand up for one another's rights. Leave behind all the old ways of thinking that divide us: sexism, racial prejudice, status, greed, and set the world on a different path.
Now, when Obama says that doing what's easy is how a lot of so-called grown-ups think, including some with fancy titles and important jobs, which is why things are so screwed up, I wonder what person with a fancy title and important job he's talking about. Now, I can promise you that even if Obama wasn't talking about Trump, Republicans are going to interpret this as an attack against him anyway. And if stating universal, basic truths, like how taking the easy route can screw things up, is seen as an attack on someone, then that doesn't say much about that person. This was Barack Obama at the televised Graduate Together event, where a host of celebrities and musicians and athletes addressed the class of 2020, which, because of the pandemic, obviously wasn't able to graduate with regular commencement ceremonies like in past years. And I just have to say that it's pretty amazing how the country turned to a past president for words of inspiration and hope and positivity, because the current president is incapable of delivering that message. What an utter failure on Trump's part for a so-called leader. And by the way, this wasn't even the first implication of Trump. During another commencement speech for HBCUs, Obama was even more clear in his condemnation of the glaring lack of leadership coming out of the White House.
More than anything, this pandemic has finally torn back the curtain on the idea that so many of the folks in charge know what they're doing. A lot of them aren't even pretending to be in charge. If the world's going to get better, it's going to be up to you.
Yeah, we're gonna get a boatload of Obamagate tweets because of that one. But the fact is that Obama was exactly right, that doing what's easy has been an unmitigated disaster here. Because keep in mind, what needed to happen in confronting this pandemic was the hard work of coordinating a nationwide testing system and establishing a system of contact tracing and advocating for social distancing and ramping up production of PPE. And doing all of these things swiftly and early, just like leaders from countries that actually managed to contain the spread did. But because those things are hard, that's not what happened in the United States. Instead, under Trump's leadership, we got a president who wasted precious weeks and months as he held rallies calling the virus the new Democrat hoax, like impeachment of the Russia probe. He said it was contained, he said cases would soon be down to zero, he said it was no worse than the flu, he said it would disappear like a miracle, he said it would vanish with the heat in April. When we needed clear, concise, focused action, we got disinformation, confusion, and chaos. Instead of leadership, we got Trump. And it wasn't just the denialism. Taking an easy route is why Trump was so hell-bent on pushing hydroxychloroquine, only to have trials show that it may actually be more dangerous than taking nothing. That's why Trump started touting sunlight and injecting disinfectant as a treatment for the virus, causing poison control centers across the country to tweet out warnings not to ingest household cleaning products after receiving a surge in emergency calls. He's not looking to put in the time and work to do what needs to be done. He wants a miracle cure. He wants someone else to do the work while he takes a victory lap. To be honest, all he actually wants to do is hold campaign rallies, which, to exactly no one's surprise, Trump has expressed more sorrow at losing than actual American citizens. In fact, in one 13-hour swath of daily press briefings, Trump expressed a grand total of 4.5 minutes of sympathy for the victims of the virus. 4.5 minutes out of 13 hours. The fact is, if Trump wanted to do what was easy, he should have stayed as a reality TV game show host, because the difference here is that actual lives are impacted by his decisions. And never has that been more obvious than now, when the United States, under Trump's leadership, has become the epicenter of the virus. And so as we approach 100,000 deaths, I want everyone to ask yourself whether taking the easy route was really the best move that the White House could have taken here.